Today on Locked On Red Wings, Elmer Soderblom sent down to the Griffins to make room for Tyler Bertuzzi's return again, and also previewing the matchup against the Winnipeg Jets.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We're your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I am a podcast producer for the Daily J, a WWJ News Radio podcast, while Scotty's the host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a journalist for the Detroit News. And this came out yesterday, Scotty. Let's just get right into it. No preamble, no BS.
No messing around.
But this came out quite literally 20 minutes after we finished recording, that Elmer Soderblom was sent down to the Grand Rapids Griffins. I had to sneeze. I had to fight it off. I fought it off, though. We're good.
They're like, why are you staring at me, bro?
I was, as I was saying that sentence, I was like, come on. I was like, I just said no preamble, no BS. And now I got to sneeze. I'm like, fight through it.
I was like, why is he staring at me like that?
I was like, come on, Brian. But Elmer Soderblom sent down to the Grand Rapids Griffins. But what was surprising in that moment is, unlike when they sent down Jacob Vrana and they made that corresponding move officially right away. Obviously, they had to waive him first, but once he cleared, they immediately activated Robbie Fabry on the same tweet. There wasn't a corresponding move immediately once they sent down waiver-exempt Elmer Soderblom. So, you and I had a short conversation. It's like, okay, who's it going to be, Zadina or Bertuzzi? Now, Bertuzzi did say last week that he felt like he was about a week away. So we obviously came to the logical conclusion that it was going to be Tyler Bertuzzi. But here we are on Monday recording this, and Derek Malone confirmed Tyler Bertuzzi will play tomorrow or tonight by the time you're listening to this against the Winnipeg Jets. Still has yet to be officially activated back off the IR, but he'll be playing on a top line with Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin, getting the band back together. And I mean, just that's the whole conversation. I don't know if you want to start off, Scotty, really the conversation with the Elmer Soderblom side of things or the Tyler Bertuzzi side of things, but wherever you want to go, I'll follow, man.
I think we start with Elmer just because the conversation about Bert can kind of transition us right into the game preview. So I think that makes more sense to save. But yeah, I mean, Elmer, we've been talking about for a while how if it was going to be any of the waiver exempt players, it was going to be him. And there was a little bit of a conversation, I think, about Suter or Ernie or somebody like that just kind of getting the boot. But yeah, they went with Elmer, and not the end of the world. There's definitely some stuff that he can work on. We talk about it a lot on here. There's still some parts of the game that he can probably improve in, and getting 20, 22, 23 minutes a night down in Grand Rapids, up in Grand Rapids, is probably one way to help his development. So
yeah, I mean, I think he has gotten better as the season has gone on, which is an incredible thing to say about a rookie. But I mean, he's done nothing but surprise us as Red Wings fans since the moment he's gotten drafted. I mean, what was he, a 6th round draft pick for the Detroit Red Wings? Made SHL or played great with the SHL team last year. And then to come over to training camp and just lit it up in training camp, played really well, earned a spot on the team. I mean, nobody expected a 6th round, 2021 draft pick. So I'm sorry, he was 2019 draft pick. So it's been a couple of years, but still, as a 6th round pick, you don't expect that out of a deep round pick to make this much of an impact this much early. But I agree with you that I think when we're talking about casualties, guys, like when the roster crunch really starts, and obviously we talked about it, they kind of kicked the can down the road by making it so Vrana was one of the players being waived. Eventually, you have to imagine he finds his way back to the roster. He's still kind of not really heating up yet with the Grand Rapids Griffins. I'm hoping that comes soon. But if we're assuming that was just a can get kicked down the road, this is the real first casualty. And I'll be honest, he deserves the spot on the roster, but I agree with you that he does have probably out of the 5 guys technically, but you're not sending down Raymond or Sider that are waiver exempt. He's the guy who has the most to work on. And I think the biggest thing with him is we talked about it earlier in the season. It was defensively, but I think he's improved a lot in that regard. I think the biggest thing for him right now is just standing on his 2 feet. I noticed that because he's so tall and taller guys tend to have a higher center of gravity. And this is like you have to work on this type of thing. I mean, he's 21 years old. This is ever since puberty's hit for him. I'm sure this has been an issue, but lowering his center of gravity so he doesn't get knocked off the puck and then knocked on his butt so easily. Cause I did notice that despite being as big as he is, he gets knocked down very easily, but he's like super, super close. I wouldn't even say he's super, super close. He is NHL ready. He deserves a spot on this roster, but it just comes down to roster space. And unfortunately, whether or not he needs to be waived, and he doesn't. So he gets sent right down the AHL. It's an unfortunate casualty. And, I'll back that up, Scotty, with, in his 21 games played here with the Detroit Red Wings, he has a Corsi for percentage of 52.4%. This is a team that as a whole is 45%. Now that's granted that's at 5-on-5, and this is at all. Let me look it over to 5-on-5. At 5-on-5, his Corsi for percentage is 49.6%, where the team is at 45. So he's still a solid 4% above the team at 5-on-5, and relative, he's a 5.1% relative. So like he's bringing value to the team. He's just unfortunately the guy that doesn't have to go on waivers.
Yeah, no, I mean that's really all it comes down to is just who can provide roster flexibility and who can't. And unfortunately, at this time, he's one of the waiver exempt guys. Yeah, I think the getting knocked over part too. Like he's very easy to get under because
Yeah.
he's so big. So yeah, like that's something that NHL players are going to exploit, obviously. So definitely something to work out. I mean, there's some small stuff in the offensive zone too. Like honestly, I think a lot of people would like him to use his body even more offensively, and then there's still some stuff he can do defensively too. Even though, like you said, we've been talking about how he has improved defensively for sure. So yeah, definitely still stuff he can improve on, but yeah, I mean, broken record. But of all the dudes that were waiver exempt, he was unfortunately the most, probably the I don't want to say easiest, but he was probably the most logical choice.
Yeah, I mean, it is really unfortunate more than anything because, when we're talking about his ability to get knocked off the puck, I feel like that's very nitpicky stuff. I mean, at that point,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, if
Like you
you're,
said, he's an NHL caliber player at this
yeah,
point.
I mean,
But
he's shown up in every single game that he's played, and he's been playing bottom 6 minutes for the most part, and he's looked comfortable in those bottom six. Sometimes he's been the best player on the ice. Was it last game or 2 games ago? He had like a expected goals for percentage of 95% or something ridiculous like that. I mean, he has shown up in every single game. It's not necessarily showing up on the score sheet. He only has 8 points in 21 games played, but he's also playing bottom 6 minutes. But he's also shown that he scores goals in clutch time. I mean, the most notable one that people think of when it comes to this conversation is he had the game winner for his first ever NHL career goal in the first game of the season. But a lot of his goals have come at very timely moments during Red Wings games. So I guess it's a really good thing that when we're talking about players who get sent down, we have to nitpick reasons why they were the one that got sent down, because it means it's a very competitive roster. The downside is the team's currently on a losing streak, but we talked about it, Scotty. This was never going to be an easy decision one way or the other. And yes, Soderblom was the quote unquote easiest answer because he doesn't have to go through waivers, and you think that he probably has the most still to gain by playing in the AHL because Bergeron doesn't have anything left to gain. Veleno doesn't have anything left to gain. But I mean, from here on out, once Zadina is ready to come back, assuming that you don't waive him and send him to the Grand Rapids Griffins, assuming that you want him on the NHL roster, I don't know what's next. And if Verana ever gets back to full game speed and is tearing it up in the AHL and is ready to come back and you can get that pure goal scorer back on your roster, it's just, this is the conversation we've been having. It's a great problem to have, but it's all such a difficult choice to make.
yeah, I mean, the easiest comment to like make on that is like that's just like what good teams do. And I'm not saying that this is a very like top end team or a playoff team or whatever, but like this is a problem this team has not had for years. Like when was the last time the Red Wings had like too much young talent where you couldn't find a spot for all of them? Like that hasn't been a problem in a very long time. So healthy and good and constantly moving organizations, This is what they look like, even if it is the early stage of that, and we're not quite at the level we want to be at, and we're still heading in the right direction. We're still heading upwards. But I mean, this is what competent front offices and competent teams. This is like a healthy sign, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. This is healthy. It doesn't make it any easier, but it's healthy.
Yeah, but the exciting part, and we'll talk about this in segment 2 and probably a little bit into segment 3, is what the roster makeup looks like when these decisions get made, because it just gets so much more exciting. While you were talking there, I pulled up Elmer Soderblom's player card, and it's even more exciting. His results in 21 games. I mean, the fact that, granted, at fourth line minutes, but his overall is 71%, and both of his offense and his defensive side of the puck are positive metrics at even strength. Like, he's not hurting you at even strength by any stretch. Like, he's NHL ready. I guess that's the point I'm trying to get across again and again, is that he's not getting sent down because it's a punishment. He's getting sent down because of roster crunch. That's as simple as it is. He's going to be a player on this team that is going to be I think is going to be with this team for a long time to come. But right now, it's just, there's too many players on the roster.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, the only place he really hurt you was on power play. And you don't see him a lot on power play anymore. That's why Oscar Sundqvist ended up taking his power play spot. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Elmer Soderblom sent down to AHL Grand Rapids Griffins. Not his fault. Roster crunch. He will be back, and he will be a mainstay on this roster for years to come once contracts expire. So when we come back, we'll move into talking about Tyler Bertuzzi and just how exciting this roster looks once these guys start getting healthy. But first, I got to talk to you guys today about BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football, college bowl season, basketball, and the NHL. They've got it all at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Segment 2, Lockdown Red Wings podcast. Tyler Bertuzzi, Scotty. He's back again.
He is. How nice is that?
It's very nice. It's very nice. What should we expect to see out of Tyler Bertuzzi in his third healthy stint this year?
Right. You know, it's an interesting conversation, just because we hadn't really seen a ton of production from him in either stint before, and I don't think that's a slight. I don't think that he's taken a step back or anything. It's just, it's tough to get into a rhythm and really make a difference when every couple of weeks you seem to be getting hurt again. But I think we just look like his style of play translates. Like, it translates to any team, any line, any system. It doesn't matter. Like, the style of play that he puts out on the ice is just something that everybody can use and every team wants. So I have no doubt that he will get back to being the normal production that we are used to. I think the biggest thing is just, like, please, stay healthy.
Stop blocking shots with your wrist.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. Sorry, I didn't realize you were done at first.
You just happened to comment at the end of my spiel.
No, I completely agree with you, man. Tyler Bertuzzi is the guy who, like you said, he was off to a slow start this year, got hurt, came back, was slow, got hurt, is coming back again. He's kind of has to pick it up, though, as well, like, for his own merit. Like, this is a contract year for him, and regardless of whether or not it's with the Red Wings or not, he wants to get paid. And, 4 points in 9 games played, only one of which being a goal, isn't going to get it done. I mean, teams are going to look at the fact that he is injury prone. I always hate that phrase, because, like, injury prone is such BS, because you can't predict injuries. Now, if it's a reoccurring injury, that's one thing, but, like, this has been, he blocked shots off his wrist. You can't, that's not on him. That's pure freak accident. So teams are going to look at the fact that he's injury prone, in quotes, and the fact that his production took a dip after a career year last year, and they're going to go, okay, last year was a flash in the pan. So for his own sake, he's going to really want to turn it on. And for my sake, as a Red Wings fan, I hope he does, because Tyler Bertuzzi, when he's on, is arguably the most exciting player on the roster because of what you said, Scotty. He does it all. He gets into the gritty areas. We talked about this with Michael Rasmussen. Well, Michael Rasmussen was meshing so well at the Dylan Larkin line is because he was kind of a slightly varied version of what Tyler Bertuzzi brought to the line, where Bertuzzi's not afraid to get into the corners, win the puck battles, get that puck in front of the net, get in front of the net himself, battle, get the rebound, score goals, while also having decent hands and a decent shot. That's what Tyler Bertuzzi brings to the Red Wings lineup, and playing on a line with Dylan Larkin, who's got a phenomenal shot and great playmaking abilities and great speed, with Lucas Raymond, who's got great playmaking abilities, great hockey IQ. I mean, that line complements each other very well, and each of them brings their own unique thing to the table. So if they three can get back together, which it looks like based on the practice lines today on Monday, they will, this offense could absolutely see an uptick in goals scored, which is something the Red Wings desperately have needed, since all season, really, but most recently the week.
What date are you gonna pick here? Since night one, yeah.
But then, of course, the roster depth after him is improved as well by that.
Right. We've talked about that a lot, and just how not only when these dudes come back does it immediately help whatever line they're on, but it subsequently helps all the lines below them, just because that's how depth works. So that's super nice, and we're finally getting closer and closer to like the full team that we were really excited about going into the season, that has barely been on the ice together since the start of the season. So that's super nice. But yeah, just his style. I kind of touched on it before. His style of play is definitely one that can lead to instant production no matter who he's with. And it'll be nice to see him on the top line, assuming that that's what they do and where they put him. But if they want to do what they did last year and spread it around and put him down in lower lines and whatnot, like that's fine too, because that leads to more production on other lines. So
we can get the Guelph Storm line back together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but also silver lining to his production. I'm not going to call it issues. He's played 9 games this season. So it's a little, it's way too soon to say he's had production issues. He didn't even have an opportunity to get hot before he got injured both times. But in his 9 games played, he has had an impact analytically on the ice, where if you go to the most basic advanced analytics, I don't like that term either, but if you go to the basic advanced analytic, which is the Corsi percentage, which is very basic, it's a percentage of 55.5% at 5-on-5 and a relative of 6.7. So despite the fact that he's only got 4 points in 9 games, when he was on the ice, the team was out shooting their opponents on a nightly basis. He does have a positive impact because of exactly what you and I both just said at the start of the segment, because of the grit he brings to his shifts, the getting in the corners, getting that puck out, getting in the net front presence. Sometimes he's not the one generating the points, but he is the one instigating the plays that result in goals. So getting him back from that aspect is just so big. And then, we talk about the trickle down hockeynomics, as it is on the offensive side of things, where now Bertuzzi's on the top line, so Rasmussen doesn't have to burden that anymore, although he played really well in his stead. But now Rasmussen's on the second line with Kopp and was it Perron? I have it up here. Kopp and Berggren, by the way, which is great for him. Now you have Veleno, Fabry, and Perron on your third line, Kubalik, Suter, and Sundqvist on your fourth line, and Ernie as your healthy scratch. That is just great. I mean, you have guys Kubalik, who at the start of the season was super hot, has cooled off, but was playing top 6 minutes with the Red Wings, fourth line. You have Perron, who's played top 6 minutes, third line. Fabry, who's played top 6 minutes, third line. Rasmussen, who's played top 6 minutes, second line. It's just everyone who's been given so much responsibility and actually at moments has played really well in those extra responsibility roles is pushed down in the lineup to play against the other team's third and fourth lines to presumably dominate those lines. I mean, that's just, as much as it stinks losing Soderblom, because Soderblom's deserved to play in these games. Oh, that is, with a team that's begging for goals to be scored, that is a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, side note, we can talk about this on a different day because I don't know if we're going to have time, but I was doing some digging today because I wanted to see how much better Seider had. There was some discourse going on Twitter. It's really silly about Seider's regression this season. Wallman and Sider as a pair have a Corsi for percentage of like 64% at 5-on-5, while he and Sherratt had a Corsi for percentage as a pair of like 45. So chemistry matters, guys. Sider has been playing a lot better since he got paired up with Wallman. Fun fact, Hronik and Sherratt also have the best Corsi for percentage together, that better than what he and Mata had.
Right.
So chemistry matters. And Hronik and Mata were great together. And granted, it's a lot smaller of a sample size. Sherratt and Hronik have plenty of time to fall off. But chemistry matters. It matters. And ever since they took Sherratt and Sider apart, Sider's been playing so much better. I'm not trying to say Sherratt is like an anchor, because that'd be bad. You can't say that. But their chemistry just never mesh. And now he's playing with Wallman, and their chemistry is meshing. It's so important. Look how much better Sider has been playing with Wallman. Look how great Wallman has been doing. Every single person Wallman's been paired with has looked great paired with Wallman too, which is also nice to see.
Yeah, man. Wallman's, very quickly, we kind of talked about it, last week? Just how he's been, he might end up being one of the bigger storylines of the entire season at this rate.
Yeah. When you talk about storylines, at least of late, he and Berggren are
for sure
1 and 2. Absolutely. Maybe Bergen's 1 and Wallman's 2, but regardless, 1 and 2, no matter what. That's just super fun. But I just want to throw that out there because there's all this discourse going on Twitter right now. So happy to see Wallman and Sider, as Twitter does its thing. But when we come back, we'll do a game preview of the game between the Red Wings and the Winnipeg Jets. Stay tuned. But first, I got to talk to you guys today about Athletic Greens. Our next partner is a product you got to use literally every day. Start taking AG1. What's the matter, Scotty?
I can't stand you.
With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. The Red Wings are going to play I've started this bad habit of just starting segments. So like, yeah, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Red Wings will be playing the Winnipeg Jets tonight by the time you're listening to this at LCA. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Winnipeg Jets, very good hockey team this year.
Good.
Kyle Connor, very good. Connor Hellebuyck, that's the candidate.
They're on a W5 right now, heading into this game.
Fantastic.
Yeah, right. I don't know if they've lost yet there's no way they've lost yet in 2023.
No, yeah, impossible.
So yeah, that's
1
fun.
overtime loss. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. The biggest thing that just like jumps off the page at you when you look at a stat sheet or whether you just like watch the games is their goaltending has been redonkulous. Like, easily one of, and like, I don't say this lightly, one of, if not the best goaltending situation, just like room as a whole in the entire league. I think they're first or second in save percentage as they come into this game as a team. And second or third in goals against, like that. Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, Connor Hellebuyck's save percentage is .928 on the season, and then Riddick, their backup, has got like .905.
Right.
So even their backup is a league average save percentage, which is. I hope we get Riddick, but even then, I'm just like, oh man, Connor Hellebuyck is just out of his mind this year. I'm trying to get his goal saved above expected up while we're talking here, because last I checked, he was like second or third in the league in that as well, which would indicate that he's playing even better than his save percentage would
Yeah,
indicate.
they give up so few goals as a team that
Oh
they
my,
are 12th in the league in goals for a game, just like goals scored a game. But they are fifth in goal differential with a +1 on the season. Like they're like a middle of the road offense, but have a top 5 goal differential because they just don't give up goals.
Connor Hellebuck's goal saved above expected is 21.91, which is second in the
Yeah.
league, which, like I said, indicates that he's playing even better than his 928 save percentage would
Right.
indicate. That's insane. And it's not all on him. He's a huge reason, but it's not all on him. Oh, by the way, number 1 in goals saved above expected is Elias Sorkin, still 26 on the dot.
Not bad.
I mean, he is pretty much the sole reason why the Islanders are as good as they are.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
Connor Hellebuck is helped out big time by the offensive production of Kyle Connor, who has 49 points in 40 games played, 20 goals and 29 assists. Pierre-Luc Dubois, who has 47 points in 40
Do you
games
remember
played.
that whole saga?
I do. And I remember even in the offseason, people were talking about before his contract, he still had another year, I think, left. And they were like, he's going to the Canadians. He says he's going to leave. And like people putting words in his mouth. It's like, I don't blame him for wanting to leave Columbus either. I would too.
Yeah, it's just it's been a crazy last couple of years for Pierre-Luc Dubois, and now that he's like in a situation that's like pretty solid, and he doesn't seem to be, upset about it anymore. He's performing. Like who would have thunk?
I mean, they're a deep offense. John Morrissey's been great, 46 points in 40 games played.
Yeah.
Mark Scheifele, 34 and 40. Blake Wheeler coming off a ruptured testicle. He's got 26 and 31. That he played through, but he came back the other night. That's when the news came out, like he played through the ruptured testicle and then went on the IR. I mean, guys, like Scotty said, at even strength, this team I think is like 20th in the league. They don't dominate you at even strength, but they're going to kill you on special teams, which you've been bad at so far this year. Hold on. I'm sorry. I think I may have misspoke. Let me just.
Well,
they
have a middle. They have a like 20th. Solid power play. It's just like, guess what? They have a great penalty kill. You know why? Because they don't allow goals. Like it just all goes back to like they don't allow goals against. Like they just don't.
Also, I didn't misspeak. I was right. They were 20th at 5-on-5.
And like none of like the all the other metrics or whatever, they're going to be, they have some good performers for sure. They're like relatively deep. They're going to have, like solid, not like cellar dweller numbers, but like they're going to have, like solid ish numbers, middle of the pack offensive numbers. But it all just comes back to that, it's hard to lose when you don't give up any goals, and like they don't. So
yeah, that's it. They're really good.
They're a terrible face-off team. They're one of the few teams in the league that are worse than you in the face-off circle.
And the Red Wings have been better at face-off in the face-off dot these last few games.
Right. So. And like they've been better at 5-on-5, and this isn't a great 5-on-5 team. Like, but it's not going to matter because this team can't finish either. Like we have 4 goals in our last 3 games, and now we're going up against arguably the best goalie situation in the league. So
yeah, but we're getting Tyler Bertuzzi back, so the depth is deeper. So
the depth is deeper.
The depth is deeper, top tier analysis. But also at the same time, something's got to give, right? The Red Wings against the Devils and the Panthers dominated the 5-on-5 play according to Corsi, Fenwick, expected goals for percentage, and just the shot percentage in general. Like you just look at the total number of shots, Red Wings dominated. Against Toronto, they had a really good first half of the game, and then the Toronto Maple Leafs became the Maple Leafs and dominated the second half. But something's got to give. The Red Wings are playing so well at 5-on-5, they cannot continue to just score 1 goal a game, 2 goals a game. They're playing like a team. And we had this conversation, not to say the Red Wings are just like the Devils, but the Devils went through this problem early in the season too, where they were playing really well at 5-on-5, but just weren't getting rewarded on the score sheet. Eventually, if the Red Wings keep doing what they're doing at 5-on-5, something is gonna give. And hopefully Tyler Bertuzzi
give against this goalie situation.
I'm not saying it is, but with how they keep playing, something's gotta. Maybe Tyler Bertuzzi is going to be what makes it give. I don't know. But, it's so rare that teams go into games, dominate 55 to 60% of the scoring chances, and then only score 1 goal. That just doesn't happen. So
you're right.
if they continue to do this at even strength, eventually they'll get rewarded. Now, the Winnipeg Jets, like you said, Scotty, would be a really hard team for that to happen against because of Connor Hellebuck. But it's got to happen eventually. That or the 5-on-5 play just completely falls off again like it was earlier in the season. But then maybe we'll get our special teams back. Who knows?
Maybe.
Did that sound a little petty?
All we have in this world is hope, brother.
I mean, again, like at a night in and night out basis, I always want this team to compete. I always want this team to win. I want them to beat the Winnipeg Jets. Reality, though, I recognize Winnipeg Jets are a much better team than the Detroit Red Wings. And the Red Wings are still a team taking a step forward and still in a process of a rebuild. So reality, I know that the chances of them winning are slim, but I still want them. I would love for this to be the breakthrough game. Just put up 5 on Connor Hellebuck. Not going to happen, but I want them to.
Love it.
Let's win some hockey games, Scotty.
Let's do it, bud. Why not?
The Red Wings and my men's league teams. Let's go. Come on.
I agree.
Bad, man. We've been bad.
I heard the defense on the men's league team is kind of sus.
Yeah, starts with the guy who wears number 2. He's a fun one out there.
He's got no flow either. It's weird.
Is like negative flow. I said my piece, man.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Let's see. Let me pull up that over under real quick if it's up yet because we are recording this on Monday. It'll be 6 or 6.5. It always is because hockey's very predictable.
Yeah, baseball's the same way.
Well, I mean, when you have empty net goals, it's just just give yourself that padding. Yeah, it's not up yet as of recording this. Oh no, it is. It's 6. Yep, it's 6.
I will happily take the under.
The under is the underdog in this situation, plus 104
That's
odds.
Shocking to me. 6. I might have to take a look at that.
Honestly, I would take the under too. That is shocking because Connor Hellebuck's a brick wall. Unless they're expecting I guess it's fair to expect with how the Red Wings have been playing the Winnipeg Jets to put up like 5 goals on you, but
I guess. But if we go Husso too, I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I would take the under as well. Under 6 is what we'll say. All right, Scotty. Any final thoughts? I took my hat off. That's how you know I'm done.
Clearly.
It's usually the indicator.
I don't think so. Don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this month.
Yes. Oh, my God.
How about that?
I know we're not locked on Lions, but
we ball.
Give him a lifetime contract.
Lifetime.
I mean, he is the heartbeat of this team. I swear to God. We'll be back with a game recap tomorrow. And I know we promised to talk about what we didn't promise, but we thought about talking about Red Savage today. But then the news of Soderblom and Bertuzzi came out. It was more pressing. We will get to Red Savage's World Junior performance eventually. Same time, same place.
BetOnline.
Every day. Fans have been wanting that. I don't know if you saw that in the comments, but people have been asking you to say that more often.
I only do it when there's an actual BetOnline ad.
Well, did you say it yesterday?
No, I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, so you a hypocrite. That's what you
Where
are.
the game starts.